Good morning, everyone. This is Shambhavi Mishra from the BSV Hangout. Every new situation has its own new demand. So, today we are here to put some light on the topic education during COVID 19 and highlights of NEP 2020 from the student's perspective. On the panel, we have prominent experts from the field of education. First, on the panel, we have Muskan as Education Minister of India, Mr. Ramesh Pokhriyal. Then we have Mahi as Deputy CM of Delhi, Mr. Manish Sisodia. Then we have Kashish as NCERT Director, Dr. Rushikesh Senapati. And we have Shifali as CBSE Head, Mrs. Anita Karwal. I hope this question and answer session with them will be useful for all of us. My first question goes to Mrs. Anita Karwal. Ma'am, for the first time in teacher education program, the students will be in an online world. This cohort presents on an opportunity for building creativity for the future. Is this a silver lining?
Okay. Uh, in the light of the disorder brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, many schools have turned to online classes and resources to give their students the support they need during this time. Now, technology has become the cornerstone of education and communication between teachers and students. When assessing the impact of online tools in education, it has become more and more evident that technology is no longer a subsidiary component of learning. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I value in the insights and information you provide. I would like to ask my next question to Mr. Ramesh Pokhriyal. Sir, how to evaluate the quality of an online course?
There are many ways to evaluate the quality of an online course. Few years ago, quality in higher education was measured by the course content, pedagogy, and
Hmm.
activities that include student needs, use of data and information for decision making, department contributions, as well as improved learning outcomes. For example, online learning's consortium's 5 pillar of quality online education and quality matter rubric. I also suggest that there must be some extra co-curricular activities like yoga, aerobics, art and craft, music, etc. The assignment should be checked on a regular basis and a quiz should be provided whenever a topic is completed. Student can also check the progress of their online class by some rubrics provided by their institutions. If their institution does not have a tool in place, I recommend the rubric created by California State University, which covers 6 domains. The 6 domains are learner support and resources, online organization and design, instructional design and delivery, assessment and evaluation of student learning, innovative teaching with technology, and faculty use of student feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was indeed and very helpful to us. Now, my next question goes to Dr. Rushikesh Senapati. Sir, a big concern is how the current crisis may lead to even greater gaps in student learning. For example, some families don't have access to internet or devices at home. What are some lessons that we may share with others around the world experiencing this?
According to UNESCO, since the outbreak of COVID-19 began, some 1.37 billion students in 138 countries worldwide have been affected by school and universities closure. Nearly 60.2 million school teachers and university lecturers are no longer in the classroom. Since the whole country is under lockdown, e-education is the best bet left. University faculties are setting up accounts on online video conferencing platforms such as Zoom, Skype, Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, and many more, among others, to engage with students. The state government order on lockdown rules issued on Sunday states that schools, colleges, and other institutions are to remain shut except of remote areas.
Thank you, sir, for sharing information. I would like to ask one more question from you, sir. Sir, what new approaches do you think might be needed to cope this new situation and why what might go on into the future?
COVID-19 related disruptions can give educators time to rethink the sector. Technology has stepped into the breach and will continue to play a key role in educating knowledge, where in educating future generations, where technology has stepped into a breach and will continue to play a key role in educating future generation. In a world where knowledge is a mouse click away, the role of the educator must change too. For a while, how educators around the world have been talking about the need to rethink how we educate future generation. This might just be the description that the sector needed to get us all to rethink how we need to teach and what we are preparing our students for. So, as we educators grapple with the new ways of communicating with our students away from our classrooms and lecture theatres, it is good time to reflect on how this disruptive crisis can help us define what.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words and magnifying review. I would like to ask my next question to Mrs. Anita Karwal. Ma'am, in the wake of secondary school education, what is the main highlights of National Education Policy? Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate the information and advice you shared. I would like to ask my next question to Dr. Rishikesh Senapati. So, what will a switch from 10 plus 2 to 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 in schooling mean?
The draft policy also proposes extending the free and compulsory schooling policy from preschool till class 12. The draft National Education Policy 2019 NEP, a 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 system of education instead of the traditional 10 plus 2 system. Under the new system comprising school and preschool education, the first 5 years would be the foundational stage, 3 years of pre-primary school followed by grades 1 and 2, after which would come the preparatory stage grades 3, 4 and 5. The draft policy also proposes extending the free and compulsory schooling policy from preschool till class 12. The draft National Education Policy 2019 NEP, a 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 system of education instead of the traditional 10 plus 2 system. Under the new system comprising school and preschool education, the first 5 years would be the foundational stage, 3 years of pre-primary school followed by grades 1 and 2, after which would come the preparatory stage grades 3, 4 and 5. The middle stage grades 6, 7 and 8, and then the secondary stage grades 9, 10, 11 and 12. Common subjects for all, while simultaneously there will be a great flexibility in selecting elective courses, including in the arts, vocational subjects and physical education, so that all students can expand their horizons as they see fit and explore their individual interest and talent.
Thank you, sir, for sharing information with us. Now, my next question goes to Mr. Ramesh Pokhriyal. Sir, during COVID-19 pandemic, one major issue that came into focus was digital divide. How do you plan to address the requirements of the poorer section through NEP?
Every day for at least 4 hours, which would be repeated 5 more times in a day, allowing the students to choose the time for their convenience.
Thank you, sir, for letting us know that government has taken steps for poorer section also. Sir, I would like to ask one more question from you. From when does the policy become effective? Will its provision apply in the coming session or will you make a timeline to implement various measures?
We are working on implementation of this policy. Achieving successful implementation of this policy demands a long-term vision, availability of expertise on a sustained basis, and concerned action from all concerned encompassing national, state, institutional, and individual level. The remodeled and regenerated CBE shall also be responsible for developing, articulating, evaluating, and revising the vision of education in the country on a continuous basis. It shall also create and continuously review the institutional framework that shall help attain this vision. Common entrance test will be worked out by February March 2021 and administered possibly by May 2021. But we may expect national provincial standards for teachers to be laid down. An assessment system for schools may be transformed by the academic session 2022-23 in accordance with the proposed NCF 2021. Thus, the next 2 years will see far-reaching changes in both higher education and high school education.
Thank you, sir, for making us more aware about this policy. Now, I would like to ask my next question to Mr. Manish Sisodia. Sir, you have said you welcome the multilingualism policy of the NEP.
Yes, that is a misconception about learning. A lot of people have written to me that is a misconception about learning, but lots of people have written to me which do not have English as their mother tongue. Lots of countries across the world which do not have English as their mother tongue ago and some 100 years ago. There were debates on experiments. Studies 60 years ago and some 100 years ago. There were children learn better if studies were conducted in the foundational years better. They are taught mother tongue and English introduced as a language and they are taught mother tongue and English educated as a language and as a medium of instruction right as the beginning or English was found that those who are taught in their mother tongue had a strong found that those who are taught in their mother tongue had a strong
Thank you, sir, for sharing your
foundation.
view on
Thank
this.
you.
My next question
Thank
goes
you, sir,
to
for
Ms.
sharing foundation. Thank
My next question goes to Mrs. Anita Karwal. Ma'am, there are practical issues related to teaching in mother tongue or local language. There are millions of multi-language families and lot of people have transferable jobs and their kids go to schools in different states. Have all these issues been thought through?
In multilingual families, there can be language spoken by other family members which is different from the mother tongue or local language. Therefore, we have added the term wherever possible in the language recommendation clause. However, the mother tongue or local language should be the medium of instruction till class 5.
Thank you, ma'am. It was very thoughtful of you. Now, my next question goes to Mr. Ramesh Pokhriyal. So, one of the highlights of this policy has been its focus on mother tongue as a medium of instruction. However, is it practical to shed English, which has become a global language?
It is not practical to shed English language. Young children learn and grasp non-trivial concepts more quickly in their home language, mother language. Wherever possible, the medium of instruction until at least grade 5, but we prefer it to be grade 8 and beyond will be the home language, mother language, local language or the regional language. However, there will be a greater flexibility in the three language formula and no language will be imposed on any state. The three language learned by the children will be the choices of the states, region and of course the student themselves. So as long at least two of them are native to India. Now, nowhere the policy talks about shedding the English language. Instead, it emphasizes on the importance of multilingualism, which has a greater cognitive benefit for younger children.
My next question to Mr. Manish Sisodia. Sir, what are your views on switching over to the 4-year undergraduate? Sir, what are your views on switching over to the 4-year undergraduate program?
but you can be a teacher in 2 years.
I would like to ask my last question to Mrs. Anita Karwal. Ma'am, what effect will this all have on everyday life for children and their teacher in future?
This is a very good question. The way the pandemic bared its fang in our cities, even teachers didn't get enough time to prepare. While we often hear parents complaining about the added pressure of online schooling, and halfway through the class, we hear teachers urging to the students to mute their microphone and wait for their turn to speak. Teachers complain of kids scribbling on the screen or incessantly chat with their friends in the chat window while the class is on.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate your consideration. Thank you, everyone. I'm so grateful for your generosity this morning in spending time speaking with me and sharing your insights and discussing the strategic initiatives you are pursuing. Thank you. We all know children can't attend the classes at this time. So for the first time, the students are in an online world and our teachers are taking online classes. The efforts are taken by our teachers and school faculty in encouraging us to learn new things and doing extra co-curricular activities, even while staying at home and taking measures for our bright future. Finally, we hope that this crisis will be somehow resolved shortly. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. This is Bhavesh Sharma, live from the BSV premises. Today, we have very special guests in our newsroom. All of these are related to education, and we will ask them the most unanswered questions. So, we have Mr. Pokhriyal, the HRD Minister of India, Dr. Senapati, NCRT Director, Mr. Dotasra, Education Minister of Rajasthan, and Mr. Manish Sisodia, Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi. Today, we will be going to entreat our respected political guests with the interrogating voices of students reaching us every now and then. So let's get started with our first question for Mr. Pokhriyal. Sir, I would like to ask that you please tell that due to the COVID-19, the education of the student is hampered or they got an advantage.
Okay, as per education is concerned, we all know that very well that COVID-19 had affected many areas, including education sector also. It mostly affected those schools which are not fully developed and lack many facilities, including online communication and networking. The schools which are lacking in the digital devices, but still government is providing the subsidies to buying the necessary device. But many of the schools are providing online education to the students. So we can conclude that some of the students have disadvantage at this point and other have the advantage and the opportunity to show their potential in the lockdown and all. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. I understand that over thousands of children, especially students, are getting an advantage over this pandemic. But there are many students which thought that having a new education policy during this global traumatic situation is not good. So I request Dr. Senapati to please tell how the new education policy is going to affect on us, on the education system of the from 6th to 10th.
And from nursery college in which to resolve to make the country self-reliant by creating new generation and making India superpower of knowledge. With the NEP 2020 coming in effect, we are hoping to transform education and putting a significant thrust on learning about how to think critically and solve problems, how to be creative and multidisciplinary, and how to innovate, adapt, and absorb new material novel and changing fields. The new curriculum will include basic arts, crafts, humanities, games, sports, and fitness, languages, literature, culture, and values, in addition to science and mathematics, to develop all aspects and capabilities of learners and make education more well-rounded, useful, and fulfilling to the learner. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I agree with your answer, Dr. Senapati, but what about those who are dropped out of the school? Coming to the next topic for our question. This question is from Mr. Manish Sisodia. Sir, according to the report of the Hindu newspaper, more than 23 million students are dropped out of the school due to the economic fallout of the corona pandemic. And India is also vulnerable in the same sphere. So I would like to know what government is doing in this sector.
As you said above, more than 23 million students are dropped out of school. The India still have very low statistics as compared to other countries. That is, less than a handful number of people are dropping out their children per district. The government also plays a vital role here. On one hand, the government is running government-owned school, and on the other hand, the government is supporting non-government ones, so that every child in the country tends to remain a student only. The government is providing funds, subsidies, etc. on its side, but there are some greedy people who are still seeing these funds and facility as an opportunity to earn. I agree that there are people dropping out their children, but this problem arises only due to the mishandling of health provided by the government. There is also online school which is running to balance the shutdown of the schools. Next question, please.
Thank you, sir, for clearing the queries of the civilians. So, moving to the next question, I would like to ask Dr. Senapati again. Sir, when does the new education policy will become active?
The policy will act very soon, and you know, Mr. Bhavya, any policy efficiency depends on its implementation. Such implementation will require multiple initiatives and actions. which will have to be taken by multiple bodies in synchronized and systematic manner. Therefore, the implementation of the policy will be led by various bodies, including MHRD, CABE, union and state governments, education-related ministers, NCERT, SCERTs, school, and HCIS, along with timeline and a plan for review in order to ensure that the policy is implemented in its spirit through coherence, planning, and synergy across all the bodies involved in education. As this policy is next for 20 years, and many years later, a new policy has come. It will take some time. And I want to tell you that it would be a 2-year period.
Thank you, sir. The next question is for Mr. Govind. Sir, please tell us that what are the other changes can government do in the future to improve the education system of Rajasthan?
Actually, in future, there are many scopes to improve the education. And right now, we are focusing on the same platform of online classes. That's why we made new education policies, and these further policies will continue as new education. And we have also reduced the chapters in every subject so that students can easily cover the course. And students in Rajasthan are taking more interest in online classes than other states. Approx 70 to 75 students percent of students are taking online classes in Rajasthan. Thank you.
The next question is for Mr.
Like assess students at grade 3, 5, and 8 to make sure that they have attained the outcomes. This is an attempt to refocus attention on learning outcomes at different stages. In fact, we think there is also provisions to make sure that the biggest dropouts that start to happen from beyond grade 5 are halted. And according to me, this is a good initiative taken by the NEP 2020. This policy aims to shape an education system that benefits all of India's children.
Thank you, sir. The next question is for Mr. Manish Sisodia. Education system responded with distance learning solution, all of which offered less or more imperfect substitutes. Thank you, sir. The next question is for Mr. Manish Sisodia.
India has used a mix of all three systems for its educational continuity. Even as the government is increasingly rely on technology, the digital divide lays barrier and limitation of this approach. Not all students have access to internet connection, equipment, skill, and working conditions to take the advantage of available platform, said the report. So, to architecture being balanced between the digital wall and public, the government is subsidizing on electronics as well as giving laptops, tabs, and mobiles to the desired children. Also, as you said above, many children only have access to small radios, television, and to attract them to the list, the government is running MHRD channel in which many professors countrywide came and gave speeches on different topics on class-wise sorted channels.
Thank you, sir. This looks that it will work for students. Next question is for Mr. Sisodia. Sir, if a boy is not satisfied with the education procedure in COVID-19, where should he go?
I understand your query, and to help them, our Union Cabinet Minister, Mr. Ramesh Pokhriyal, held a Twitter session in which he asked children to tweet their queries, and after that he held a live YouTube session answering all their queries. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next question is for Mr. Pokhriyal. Sir, please tell your views on opening of the school, which means starting the offline classes again, and what will be the estimated dates for that?
In today's scenario, it seems difficult to open the school again and starting the offline classes. It solely depends upon the improvement in country's health, and after that also the protection of student will be our first priority. And we can't take direct risk on students as they are the future of our country. Well, I will say that we can't judge any specific day or date. But yes, when the situation will be in control, then we will see in this matter. Till then, we will continue the online class.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Dotasra, the next question is for you. Sir, please tell us that if schools are unable to open, then how will you make the education system more sustainable?
I would like to tell that due to COVID-19, students had a critical impact on the education, particularly from those marginalized sections. And also there is a risk of in online classes of discrimination. Online learning may lead to discrimination. We will try our best in a poor network area. We will provide better network connectivity, and students who are not able to purchase adaptable tools like smartphones and laptops. We will also provide them these tools.
Thank you, sir. I would like to ask Mr. Pokhriyal again. Sir, please tell us why CBSE has reduced the syllabus by 30%. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Dr. Senapati, can you tell us that what are the advantages to students during this COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah. As we all know that whatever in this world has its advantages and disadvantages. We all know the disadvantages of COVID-19 very well. But the advantages of COVID-19 are very reinforced, not for students but for all. Some of them are students can use their quality time in studying and other activities which they are interested. Spend time in the house by not going out and enjoy watch movies and do some craft work. It is best time to spend with grandparents, cousins, mother, father, and other relatives. As there is ample time, moreover, everyone is doing working from home. There is no need to step out the house and meet with relatives. You can pick up the phone and call them and talk with goods, more family relations. Watching a movie along with the family and enjoying. It can only happen now it's time. Spend time with parents and explain career planning views and brainstorm them for stepping towards proper future, saving time to avoid transportation time, prayer, sports, chatting with friends, spending 5 to 6 hours of quality time on the online education. Whereas in a school, spend 10 hours. Getting more time for the self-study if used in this proper way to avoid watching movies and playing mobile games. And Mr. Bhavya, if you compare its advantages and disadvantages, then we know that its advantages are very high. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I agree with you. Students should not waste their time. Thank you, Mr. Rishikesh, for giving the ideas, and thank you to Mr. Manish, Mr. Pokhriyal, and Mr. Govind for taking out time from their busy schedule and giving us our answer. And thanks to our audience to attend this interview. That's it for today. We will meet in the next interview. This is Bhavesh Sharma from BSP.
May I request Principal Sir to please say a few words?
Thank you, Mr. Sharma. First of all, I would like to appreciate the idea by you and your team and the students, how they have performed. It's really remarkable. It's really remarkable. I feel very high once when I find that the youth is involved in such discussions. And these discussions really help us first to study about that what is happening. At the same time, it gives the platform for the youth to open up and to express their views.